welcome everyone. We do have some major XRP news. We are about to watch Brad Garlinghouse on CNBC talking about MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, and leverage. His views about BTC, the utility markets, and most importantly, one hidden opportunity about XRP. So we are about to watch this interview together. Before we get started, if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started. I like to go always straight to the point. I'm about to bring Brad to the screen.
He was Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Ripple, of course, a member of CNBC's Disruptor 50 list. It's great to have you back at the NYSE, Brad. Good to see you.
Great to be back.
So when they were a seller for the first time in a while, strategy that is, that got a lot of notice. Do you think that started something?
I think it definitely started something. And, I think the challenge is it added some excitement on the way up. And now that's compounding on the way down as well. And so as we have seen, crypto is going to go through its cycles. Many asset classes do that. I think because they were using leverage, Michael Saylor would characterize it differently than leverage per se. But at the end of the day, it was leverage. And then you start to see that in a place that can actually compound negatively. I mean, seeing the particular thing they have pegged at 100 now trade, I think 25% below par, is a pretty damning indictment. And I don't think that's helped the market.
Yeah, a ticker, if the booth is wondering, that would be STRC, which we're watching closely. I mean, there's been a lot of ink spilled on how Saylor protects the preferred, protects the currency, and protects the equity. Do you think one should come first?
Look, I actually think what should come first is focusing on what's going to drive long-term value. And I think that financial engineering does not drive long-term value. I said actually on CNBC 5 or 6 years ago that I thought the long-term value of any digital asset is going to be driven by utility. And if it's solving a problem at scale for real customers, you're going to see liquidity, you're going to see demand, you're going to see trust in that asset. Those things compound in a positive way. And I think if you're just trying to financial engineer and leverage and borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, it's kind of like, look, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I think I subscribe to the Warren Buffett expression of be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. Now is the time, I think, to be greedy. But I also think Team Michael Saylor wasn't focused on the right stuff, and that has hurt the overall market.
So what do you think the utility of Bitcoin is now?
Well, Bitcoin has definitely carved out, I think, a space as digital gold. And, there's all kinds of funny stories about when the central bank of Germany was moving $300 billion of gold. It took 2 years and billions of dollars to move it. If you wanted to move $300 billion of Bitcoin, you could do that in a pretty reasonable, quick way. So I think about Ripple's digital asset that we focus on as kind of our technology stack, XRP. The utility there is really focused on payments and leveraging the speed and efficiency of that blockchain in a way for institutions. And we've seen tremendous demand. I mean, last year, partly through acquisitions, we cleared $16 trillion of payments or clearing on the prime brokerage business. But last year, the percentage of that went through a digital asset was close to 0%. So the opportunity is to introduce and bring traditional finance. And Ripple's strategy from the beginning has been, how do we bring traditional finance into the modern architecture of blockchain? And now through some acquisitions, we have a tremendous opportunity to bring that in.
Great interview from Brad Garlinghouse. Now we have to talk about MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor. I have been warning about the red signs for the last couple of years, yet most crypto investors were completely ignoring the red flags. This is the greatest threat to crypto, and I 100% agree with Brad Garlinghouse. Financial engineering doesn't drive long-term value, only utility does. So we are about to enter what I describe as the crypto resets. Projects that hold no intrinsic value or projects that are not solving real-world problems will not survive regulation. And this is why I have been shrinking my portfolio since the last 2 and 3 years. Actually, 3 years ago, I used it to hold around 25 different projects. Right now, I hold less than 12. So you need to understand this transformation. Brad Garlinghouse is giving you the signs. I mean, he describes BTC as digital gold. He's indeed giving you the signs, but obviously he's not allowed to say everything that he wants to say. I don't even see BTC as digital gold. In the real world, there is intrinsic demand for gold. For manufacturing, gold has actually real world utility. Think about gold. Despite the real demand from financial institutions and specifically central banks that have been including gold to their balance sheets, Gold is utilized at scale for manufacturing smartphones, computers, data centers. There's actually hundreds of utilities for gold. And the same is simply not true about BTC. Bitcoin survives only on speculation. Even the scarcity narrative falls apart when you think that mining facilities can simply collude against the network and orchestrate what we call a 51% attack on BTC. So it's not even entirely impossible that over time BTC supply can even increase above 21 million BTC. And that alone puts an end to the story that scarcity alone is going to drive demand for BTC. That's not inherently true. And this is why I have been accumulating large sums of digital assets that deliver real-world utility. Assets capable of solving problems on the real world, delivering instant finality, serving AI agents that are set to perform more transactions than human beings. And the same Brad Garlinghouse also told us about a hidden XRP opportunity. There is a huge possibility that XRP captures a market that nobody's talking about. Just last year, Ripple Treasury has processed over $16 trillion in payments. And this is still happening through traditional financial rails. So here comes the big question. For over a decade, Ripple has built the liquidity corridors that are paving the way for XRP adoption. Think about what XRP price will be once XRP captures only a small fraction of that $16 trillion in payments annually. The whole infrastructure is ready, the technology is ready, and we are at the end of the marathon. Do you really want to quit near to the finishing line? Well, I don't think so. Let's now watch some news about the Clarity Act because, of course, regulation is also going to pave the way for XRP adoption. Although XRP doesn't depend entirely on regulation in America, that's still an important piece of the puzzle.
That Clarity would be passed and signed by July 4th. That date is creeping up on us. I don't think that's going to happen. If that doesn't happen, what's your outlook? Does it change?
I think my outlook is, I think the likelihood of that happening is now sub 50%. I'm still optimistic that if it doesn't happen by the August recess, it'll happen this year. I do think the regulators now with the CFTC and the SEC can probably rule right most of what we need. The problem with rule writing is it's much more reversible than what you see when it joins statute. I've been spending a lot of time in Asia. I've been in Korea and Hong Kong 4 times in the last 9 months. They've, on the one hand, been waiting for the Clarity Act. I actually think if it's not passed, you're going to see Asian local governments pass equivalents to try to catch up and even get ahead of the US. So I'm long-term very optimistic. I just think we need, no pun intended, a lot more clarity, not just about US regulation, about global rates, and about the geopolitics. And let's not underestimate, you go to South Korea and all you hear about is Samsung and Hynix. We need this AI super cycle to...
There you have, this is the most recent news about the Clarity Act. Let me know in the comments. Do you think the Clarity Act will be enacted into law before December 2026? Let me know in the comments. So I hope you enjoyed today's crypto update. I want to know who are the real ones that watch the videos until the end. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to see you in the next video.